The newest addition into the Battlefield 5 armory is the Type 97 machine gun, and it's got some pretty tough shoes to follow. Just recently, we finally got the BAR, and there aren't many more well-known World War II machine guns than that, although I don't actually rate it that well in the game. But in that respect, the Type 97 has a tough act to follow, and in my opinion, it just struggles to reach its potential. Let's take a look. Before we get into the actual gun, what was the real version of it like? Well, the Type 97 came into service in 1937, and it was used on Japanese tanks and other armoured vehicles. Interestingly, it was much less common as a standalone infantry gun due to its weight, but of course in this instance we're using it as a standalone weapon. Despite being such a heavy machine gun, it used the same 7.58mm round as the Type 99 Arisaka bolt-action rifle. It's a bit weird because the gun in real life was deemed too heavy for infantry use most of the time, yet it's classified as a light machine gun in the game. I know that may be strange to some, but the reality is that this is a video game and it doesn't fit in the medium machine guns, so I guess it has to go somewhere. So as I mentioned, the Type 97 fits in the light machine gun category in Battlefield 5, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was a Madsen at first sight. It's a really square weapon, but I have to admit that it does look nice. I really like the design of the barrel. The magazine sits vertically in the weapon, much like with the Madsen. The Type 97 does have better visibility than the Madsen though, even if it's only by a small amount. One of the biggest issues with the Madsen is how much visibility you lose from having the magazine sit vertically, and while that is still an issue with this gun, the Type 97, the magazine does seem to be a bit smaller, or it does seem to sit a bit lower and it's not as obtrusive. The iron sights on it, well, they're a bit Marmite too. I personally wasn't a huge fan of them, but some people have said that they like them. They sit on the right hand side of the weapon. They're a bit too bulky for my liking. In terms of the actual weapon stats, well, it's got a 568 rounds per minute rate of fire and a 25 round magazine capacity. Now, I know there was a lot of talk around the BAR recently because, as we know, that's only got a 20 round magazine. And because of the recent damage changes in the game, that means that you're reloading more often than not after every kill. The Type 97, well, it's got an extra 5 rounds, but even still, the situation here is more of the same. As I mentioned, I like the look of the Type 97, but whenever I was using it, I couldn't help but feel that it was just a slightly worse Madsen. I know that some people will enjoy this gun, and I'm not saying that I didn't because it feels quite nice to use. It feels like it's hitting hard, but at medium and longer ranges, it definitely takes too many bullets to kill people. That's just my honest opinion. That being said, I can see the Type 97 being more popular on console than it is on PC, mainly for the most part, player accuracy is higher on PC, and so the rate at which you die from automatic gunfire feels quicker. I think on console, players have a bit more of a chance to use these slower firing weapons at times. I tended to try and stick to medium range with the 3x scope, and I did have some success with this gun. But there were absolutely times when I put a lot of shots into people only to see them walk away, and I know that's not the actual fault of the gun. Technically, that's just how the game is now. If we're talking about this gun before the recent gunplay changes, it's a completely different conversation. Let's just say that the Type 97, it's an okay weapon, a bit disappointing. I don't mind how it feels. The question is, would you use this over other top LMGs in the game, such as the KE7 or the Lewis gun, or even the Madsen? The Lewis gun has 47 rounds, even up to 97 with the extended mag. The KE7, on the other hand, also has 25 rounds in the magazine by default. On paper then, these guns should be pretty similar to each other. They have the same mag size, the same rate of fire, and if you believe the in-game stats, the accuracy and control of the Type 97 is actually a little bit better. And yet I would probably still take the KE7. I find the KE7 to be a bit more versatile when it comes to close ranges, but the Type 97 really needs to be used at medium ranges to be most effective. The specializations on this gun mainly focus around improved accuracy rather than anything that's going to aid close quarter performance. You can use it up close if you have to, but it's definitely not a strong suit. What confuses me a little bit is why it doesn't have an upgraded mag size in the specializations. The Madsen has it, so when you already have a vertical mag, it's not really much of a stretch to have a slightly bigger one with 5 to 10 more rounds, and then all of a sudden there may have been a reason to use this over something like the KE7. Or even the Lewis gun, which I'm a big fan of. The KE7 also has a rate of fire upgrade that makes it a lot more useful up close, but an extra 5 to 10 rounds might sway people towards the Type 97. This gun though, it's not unusable nor is it completely terrible, but in my opinion it's just not a gun that you have a reason to use over any of the better performing LMGs. I don't think it offers anything in terms of a useful advantage to make you want to take it over some of the other offerings, at least with the current weapon balance. Now we've talked a bit about the specializations already, so let's go into that now. I opted for the right hand tree mainly because I didn't want any extra bipod accuracy, and that gave me improved ADS speed, improved accuracy when stationary, improved accuracy in aim fire while moving, and then finally less horizontal recoil. The main thing that you miss going this way though on the left hand tree is swings and swivels, which lets you switch weapons faster and shoot sooner after sprinting, which, you know, I never tend to go for anyway. The faster reload could be a good shout though, as you're definitely going to be reloading a lot with this gun. Now if you want to unlock it, this week's Tides of War challenge is called Let 'em Have It, and it's straightforward. The first stage couldn't be any easier, just do one squad order. If you want to get this done quickly, jump into a squad on your own and issue an order to yourself, and of course complete it. Then either get 60 player suppression or kills as a squad, or use 40,000 squad points. The rest just focuses on either using the support or the medic class and capturing points. It shouldn't take you too long to complete it. But the good news is that next week we're not going back to a generic weapon skin. Instead, there's something new. The Type 2A SMG, and with an insane rate of fire over 1000, I'm really interested to try that one out and see how it fits in to the new damage meta of the game. My closing thoughts on this gun would be this: it's usable, but not to the point that I think the majority of players would want to take this over the other support weapons. It's certainly not a gun that makes me want to play the support class either, like the BAR was for a time, just because of how iconic it was. You could potentially see the Type 97 as a worse KE7, or even a worse Madsen, but more to the point, there are much stronger support weapons that allow you to use them close up with more success and offer up a bigger magazine count to boot. If you want to utilize this gun to its maximum potential, I'd recommend putting a 3x scope on it and sitting a bit further back and just trying to pick people off at medium to longer ranges. Because of the damage at range, this will take a few more bullets, more than you might like, especially if you're going for extreme ranges, but that is the nature of the game now. Either way, the support class definitely has been getting some love recently, and that's a good thing. I'm looking forward though to try and get the new SMG next week and then see what the last few weeks of this chapter have in store for the game. Of course, we've got the grease gun coming too, and that thing just looks badass. Hopefully that becomes a fan favorite, we will see. And that's all for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all had a great Christmas if you celebrate it and are enjoying the break or the holidays, whatever you're getting up to. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, a dislike, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.